Okay, we're back. We have our final guest today. We always like to say we save the best for last.
Yeah.
Welcome, Terry.
Our schmoozer.
Yeah.
Terry Arnett from TSA Contracting. So, welcome, Terry.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Very excited to be here.
So, I'll tell you the one thing that I look at when I take a look at your company. I like the fact that you're family owned and operated. So, tell us a little bit about your history.
Yeah, TSA Contracting has been in business for, we just celebrating our 10 years of being in business. We're one of the largest locally family-owned businesses operated here in San Diego. We're a commercial general contractor, and we primarily do work in the western United States, here in California, San Diego. But we've actually had the opportunity to go to the Caribbean on the really beautiful island of Nevis to do a Four Seasons renovation. So that's part of the furthest we've gone.
Well, if you're going to leave San Diego, you might as well go all the way to Nevis, right?
Exactly.
Bypass Arizona and
Yeah.
New Mexico.
Yeah.
I did pay our people to be there, but they were anxious to go just for free, I think.
I bet.
No, and that must have really twisted your arm to do the Four Seasons too, didn't it?
Oh yeah,
So.
yeah, exactly. That's, my wife and I stayed there before. We actually did the renovation because of a hurricane, but my wife and I stayed there a long time ago. And when we were getting ready to leave, it was such a beautiful place. She started crying. She wanted to stay there
Wow.
forever.
And, you don't hear too many places where people are sad to come back, to leave and come back to San Diego, you know?
Yes,
So-
we're so fortunate.
What struck me before having you come on today as I was looking at your company is your client list and projects reads kind of like a who's who of San Diego, which is pretty amazing for a company that's been here 10 years. What's the secret to your success?
Well, I've been in, I've been in commercial construction here in San Diego for over 30 years. So I've had an opportunity to make some great connections, and that's what it's all about is developing the relationships, and that's what we are, is a relationship-built company. We primarily focus on the negotiated type projects, and we've been very fortunate. At the Great Petco Park, we did the renovation on Western Metals building inside, so many people here in San Diego know that project. Other famous projects that we've worked on is the Ivy Hotel for Michael Kelly and his sister Louise. We renovated an old historical building, so we've developed a reputation for developing historical buildings. The Candy Factory, another historical
Now
building.
you're talking my language.
Exactly. You have all these chocolates in front of them, stuff to resist. But that was for actually the Sholey family. And Roger Sholey is a writer over at the UT, or used to be. And his father started an actual candy factory inside that building. And that was the building that was moved approximately 200 yards when the Petco Park was being built. And then we came in and renovated it. It was a very exciting project.
Yeah.
Wow.
Does Pamela help you with that stuff?
Al, there he is. He didn't have his headset on. Okay, yeah.
So,
Al, by the way,
I got
yeah,
busy.
so
I thought you were out there. I didn't know we were on.
Oh, no, we're live, Al.
must have been that green stuff you've been drinking.
we're not sure what was in there.
Now, you don't only do historical renovations, though. We don't want to have people that think that.
Yeah, we've done a variety of commercial projects, from small tenant improvement projects on up to large Class A office buildings. But we have been fortunate enough to be involved in a lot of unique projects. We have a new project coming up on Catalina Island for a famous family. That's asked to be kept confidential, but it's a large project, and that creates different types of problems as far as barging and the nuances of that. So Mintz Levin is a world famous law firm that's locally based, and we did a very nice tenant improvement for them. Currently, we're doing a new restaurant, very exciting. It's for the local entrepreneur, Gina Champion-Kane, who's been in the developed a lot of famous buildings here in San Diego, and that's called the Patio on Goldfinch. It's going to be in Mission Hills, and it'll be a LEED Platinum project. So
What does that mean?
that's to do with energy efficiency and recycling of materials. And it's a status. There's different levels of status, and platinum is the top status for being energy efficient with concern about the environment. And so we're very excited to be a part of that project. And the owner of that building is Carlton Management. They own some fantastic projects. They stay a little low key here in town, but they're a great developer, building owner, and so we're very excited to work with Gina and her team, and then with Carlton Management.
Gina was a guest on our first program.
Yeah, that's what I understand.
She's very good.
Yeah, and the patio in PV is one of my favorite places. So is it going to be a similar style in terms of?
A little bit, same designers as
Okay.
the patio on Lamont Street
Yeah.
in Pacific Beach, and the food is fantastic. If you haven't been to Lamont Street yet, definitely give it a try, and then we should be open here fairly quickly. I think Gina wants to keep it a little under wraps, but here the next few months, the patio on Goldfinch will be open.
Yeah, and all her restaurants are pet friendly too, aren't they?
That's correct. Yeah.
So,
In fact, in some of the renderings, they show the pets, so when we put that out as publicity, we'll definitely have some pets in the pictures.
you're listening to Close Up on San Diego Business here on KFSD AM 1450 and financialnewsandtalk.com. I'm your host, Barry Waxler, here with my co-hosts Andrea Kay and Al Arias, and our guest, Terry Arnett from TSA Contracting. So, Terry, you've got a long history, a history in construction long before you opened TSA. Tell us a little bit about your background. How did you get this far? It's not often we see a young company do as many fine projects as you've done.
And like I said, we've been very fortunate. Well, I actually went to San Diego State, so go Aztec basketball. Really happy. They weren't as good back when I went to school back at San Diego State, but then I worked in computer science for a defense contractor called TRW. Hated sitting at a desk, decided I needed to get into construction, and so I started off, my cousin was developing low-income housing in San Diego, so I moved back to San Diego and kind of worked myself up in construction. So that's really given me a good perspective on everything from being out in the field to running and estimating projects, and then obviously on the business development side.
And you have a specialty too. I see you've done a lot of biotech work.
Yes, we purchased another local company here back in 2008. Dave Beechant and his wife, it was called DBC, and they had specialized in the biotech industry, and they were getting ready to retire, so we were fortunate enough to come to an agreement and purchase them, and we built a really extremely high-end project that had some high-end, it was biosafety labs and all kinds of clean rooms and so on.
That's got to be a completely different kind of project, because biotech has a lot of clean rooms and there's a lot of different stuff there, isn't there?
Yes, a lot of different infrastructure, and it's very expensive to build those type of products. And San Diego is obviously a hub for the biotech industry. We've been very fortunate back several years ago that San Diego used to be known for the defense side, but we've grown from there to the biotech. Obviously, tourism is huge, and so that's been a great facet. Also, I used to do, with a previous company, I used to do a lot of work for Qualcomm, so obviously Qualcomm means a great deal to San Diego. It's one of the largest employers here in town, and they've done a great job. So the biotech side is definitely a different facet. It definitely takes specialty type people that understand the terminology is quite a bit different than normal construction, and the techniques of building are quite a bit different.
I wouldn't think that too many firms could take on projects like that. You have to really know what you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Well, that must be part of the reason why, when at a time in the last 10 years when so many construction companies and contractors have gone out of business, you've not only been thriving, but you continue to grow.
Yeah.
What do the next few years look like for you guys? Are you wanting to stay boutique, or are you really in an expansion mode? What's your plans?
Well, we've brought on some great people that I've worked with over the years in the past. Everybody knows everybody in San Diego, so We've been fortunate to have developed a great reputation in town that is impeccable. We work extremely hard to keep that reputation intact. But we're seeing some expansion. We're very excited about some projects, like I said earlier, on Catalina that's going to be starting here in the next few months, and then up in Irvine. So a little bit of expansion, but mostly local San Diego. This is our roots, and this is where we know a majority of the people. So very excited about that.
But things are really looking up for contractors.
Yeah, well, Al being my financial
Yeah.
guy, he sees what's going on. Yes, we're extremely happy. You know, it was definitely a tough time here in San Diego. A lot of competition outside. Large firms have moved to San Diego. Some of those firms thought there was all this work down in San Diego, and I think some of those firms that are based other places will be leaving. But so that creates opportunity for us in our growth.
Well, I think that says a lot for your firm. You know, if you have some of the big national contracting firms coming in town and you're still able to take on the projects and do it, that says a lot for you. So
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, we're very excited about what we've done.
great. So we're starting to come towards the end of the show here. So tell our listeners how they get in touch with you.
Once again, TSA Contracting. Our website is www.tsaci.com, and our phone number is 858-784-3650, and my extension is 102.
Any specialties, anything else you want to tell our listeners today?
Just the big things that are coming up is in new office space is the Millenniums are one fun office space. So we're actually developing some models for that where people can come in and take a look. And so it was an idea that it was recently developed that was given to me by a commercial broker, and so I'm very excited about following up on that. And then the energy efficiencies of the buildings. That's going to be a big deal with the existing buildings and then with new buildings.
Great. Okay, well, Terry, we appreciate you being with us, and encourage our listeners to call you and talk about their needs. So you are listening to Close Up on San Diego Business, where we get up close and personal with homegrown San Diego businesses and the people that are working to make a difference in their community. This is financialnewsandtalk.com. I'm your host, Barry Waxler. We will be back next week with another great show, and all I can say is stay awesome, San Diego, and thanks to all our guests and our co-hosts today.